So, Albie, when I came in here, you were fuming. What's the problem?
Fuming about two things. First thing I was fuming about was the number of requests we had for me not to sing ever again on Tube Talk, which I'm used to getting from my kids when I sing at home, but just to get it from owners, it's a bit of a kick in the guts. But so no Katy Perry this week. The other thing I was fuming about was Mighty Solomon and the way that he's been rated. Shall I elaborate?
Yeah.
So we were going to run Mighty Solomon this Saturday in the Japan Bay of Plenty Trophy, but we've elected not to because the weight that he would have got in this race meant that if he'd won it, he would have got crucified with points. He's rated on 100. Now, he's rated on 100 points, which is very high, and he has only raced in one black type event in his life, in his career. Black type meaning group or listed race. You look at his one run, which was a Thornton Mile, which was the only group race he's ever run in. The winner, Puccini's a multiple Group 1 winner. He won by he beat Mighty Solomon by more than 2 lengths. He got 4 rating points. Any trading point is worth half a kilo in weight. Soriano, who's a multiple Group 1 winner, ran second, and she got no rating points. Mighty Solomon ran third, 2 lengths behind her, and he got 4 rating points. So he got penalised 2 kilos for being beaten by 2 lengths by another horse. Then he raced in a weak 1400 metre race, carrying top weight at his next start. And he won that by head very narrowly, and he got 3 rating points. Whereas you compare that with, say, Saki's Soldier, who won the Group 2 Rich Hill Mile, beating Puccini. He beat 6 group winners, some multiple Group 1 winners that day, and he got 3 points for winning that.
So is there no formula to how they award these points?
It's down to a handicapper. So it's the handicapper's opinion.
All a bit arbitrary.
Yes, it is. It's arbitrary. On Saturday he was going to run against Kawi. He said there's been nothing between he and Kawi. Now Kawi's last 2 runs, he's won a listed race and a Group 3, and we were rated 2 kilos above Kawi. We had on the same rating points as Recite, who's won 2 Group 1s. Her last start, she smashed the track record, winning over 1,200 metres at a $40,000 open handicap. She bet group winning horses in that race. So we've made a complaint to New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing, and we have itemised the comparisons, and we've asked them to re-rate him. So we shall see what happens. They've responded and said that they've accepted our complaint, and we'll see what happens.
So he won't race on Saturday. What's the next start for him?
So the next start for him will be Saturday week, the 28th, in a listed 1400 metres at Awapuni. And then 3 weeks later, the Group 1 Easter Handicap. But feasibly, he could go into the Easter Handicap, having only raced once in a black type race, and carry 59 kilos with top weight, which is ridiculous.
It's not fair, is it?
Well, no, it's not, and so we're going to fight for this for our owners.
Yeah.
And for the, without sounding too magnanimous, for the good of New Zealand racing.
All right.
Well, it is. Good horses he should be weighted fairly against other good horses, and he's not.
And speaking of good horses, let's talk about Passing Shot on Saturday.
Yeah, it was really gutting, being beaten, not even a nose, in the Group 2, beaten by Vespa, who's obviously the Cracker Million Group 1 winner. But, Opie said Passing Shot got to the front, had it, and he said he still had more to give, but he was wearing side winkers, and he said he only saw Vespa out in the middle of the track late, and when he saw him he actually lifted again and sprinted again, and he said if he'd seen him coming he would have won. He was in front, this far in front of the post and that far past, but their noses were out of sync as they went down, and he just had the wrong bobbin and went second. So we were in the stand and we were standing the wrong angle and we thought we'd won it. Which is it's the first time I've actually been on course and we've watched a race and thought we'd won and celebrated, and then gone down and realised we hadn't. But they took 5 minutes to look at the photo and decide who the winner was, and so it was very, very, very close. So it's gutting, but that terrible, terrible cliche you have to use when that's racing. And we're fortunate we've got a very talented horse.
Indeed.
Who will has now gone for a 10-day spell and will return to run in the Group 3 Cambridge Thoroughbred Breeder Stakes on Anzac Day.
A well-deserved break for him.
Yes.
So we'll talk about this weekend. Why Pukarak Cup? Pukarak?
Yeah, it's a tricky.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's a well, it might be today by the time this
Yeah.
comes out. Today, not tomorrow. It's a tricky
Friday.
Friday, yeah. It's a tricky weekend for us. A really tricky weekend. Type of Tiger, Waika Pukarak Cup, who won last start, as everyone knows from the singing, and he's a horse that's actually better than what his rating suggests. And having won last start, he might actually now have the confidence to keep winning because he's got the ability to do it. So he's drawn a barrier 7. It's not a high weight, he drops back to standard weight, so he actually gets in well, 55 kilos. Kelly Myers on board. And 2100 suits, and he will run well. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is a bit more rain. It's a dead 4 on Thursday. It'll be a good 3 probably the day. I think he improves with a little bit of cut in the track.
What's the tricky bit?
Well, we've just got some tricky draws.
Okay.
And
So we'll get on to those.
We'll get on to those. Yeah,
Okay.
he's got a good draw and a little bit of rain to be nice, but he'll run well.
Okay.
He'll run well.
We'll get through them. What a star.
So now the trickiness starts.
Right. So she's in an 800 metres?
Yeah, at Riccarton. So what happened with What a Star was we had her entered for Thursday at Timaru in a 2-year-old 1100 metre race because she's not an 800 metre horse. She's actually an 1100. At this stage, she's a 1200 metre horse. The next stage she's going to be a miler. She's a horse that wants a bit further. But they canned the race on Thursday because there wasn't enough acceptances, and so they decided to put an 800 metre race on.
Right.
So it's tricky because she's not an 800 metre horse, but was either do that or trial her. So we don't really want to run over 800 because she's not. That doesn't suit her. She'll probably get outpaced and might get home well, but it's worth $7,500. So we're treating it like a trial, and she goes into it as a trial, knowing it's not ideal for her. But
Okay.
yeah, we're working towards a listed 1200 metre race for her in May.
So we're managing expectations on that one.
Yeah, and she'll be ready for that listed race over 1200. It's just the change of programming, the 800 doesn't suit, but we've got to run. So that's
Okay.
why it's tricky.
Okay, and then across the Tasman, no returns running?
He is running, and again it's tricky because we think he's a pretty good star in the making, and he debuted over 1400, now he steps up to 2000 metres. Now that big jump and running over ground first time is always quite tough on horses, but he has trialled well and worked well in between times, so we're actually thinking he'll run a very good race and be even better next over ground, but he's drawn barrier 18. So that's knocked our confidence because from 18, our only real option is to go back, which means we're going to have a lot of ground to make up in the race, which makes it makes it difficult for him to win, even though we believe on his ability he can. So we'd expect to see him running home really well, but 18, very, very difficult draw. So you can see why I said tricky now, can't you?
Yeah, now we're getting the tricky part.
Yeah.
Mezzaluna is also racing.
Waverley Cup Day Sunday.
Yep.
So Mezzaluna has been, like last winter, she ran a few really nice placings on wet ground. And she's had one start back this time, which was quite an average run. But she's quite well bred, and so we want to get her winning because that'll assist her broodmare value. So we're running her on Sunday at Waverley. Lisa Allpress is riding, and she's drawn barrier 9 out of 13, so she's got a tricky barrier again, and she really wants rain, and I don't know whether we're going to get it. But she's well enough to run a good race, but she could just get trapped wide. Now, after the start, she'll go down to Lisa Latter's stable. We're just going to try and change her environment with her. Change her environment, change a few things around, give her 2 or 3 runs from Lisa's stable in the autumn when there's a bit of give in the tracks, and see where we're at. So a tricky draw for her, but if she gets a nice run in transit, she can run a useful race. Yeah.
Okay, and in the Waverley Cup we've got Cedar Rock.
Yes, Cedar Rock. He ran last week at Trentham, and it was a fair run, but he had quite a big blow after the race, and we just wonder whether he was just just needed a little bit. He sort of, and he was also quite one pace, but he is a stayer. So what we've done is we've decided to back him up pretty quickly in the cup, and we've actually put him over a few jumps this week, and he's really like that. And putting them over jumps sometimes can just sharpen them up. So we might change tactics on Sunday. But it's tricky for him too, because what's happened is he should, the horse to beat's a horse called Langdon. Now Langdon should be on 59 kilos and we should be on 54. But a horse called Scopola is nominated to run the race, and he's almost certain not to run. And because he's a high rated horse, it's compressed all the weights. So in actual fact, we're only carrying 1 or 2 kilos less than Langdon. So it makes it really tricky for him. But I would expect that Cedar Rock, as long as there's no rain, as long as it's a firm track, will run better than he did last week. And we may try some different tactics with him. Yeah. So weights and compressions and things make it a tricky weekend.
So tricky weekend, and then we've got trial Tuesday.
How many numbers? What's the numbers?
I think 10, is it?
10. We could have up to 10 trialists on Tuesday at Cambridge. So we're quite excited about that. Matt's that excited, the Waimate Wonder, that he's decided to jump on a plane and come up. So he's coming up Monday. We're going to have a look at a lot of the yearlings on Monday, and then Tuesday we'll head down and try and get quite a bit of footage for everyone on Tuesday of horses trialling. So 10 horses trialling. Yeah, it's quite exciting to see them going out, and quite a few of the babies and things. Yeah, so it'll be a good wee week.
Great.
Yeah.
And then owners can expect some footage from that.
Yes, and also expect some footage from horses being broken in shortly as well.
Okay.
We're organising that too, so we'll send that out. So yeah, a bit of excitement.
Yeah.
A bit of excitement there. And next week we'll update you and see if we've had any response to Mighty Solomon.
Yeah.
And a few of the other, little issues.
Great. All right, we'll catch up next week.
Sounds great. Thanks,
Okay.
Melissa.
Bye bye.